Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cooking in the Quads. Today I'm going to show you guys how to upgrade a college favorite. We're going to be working with ramen noodles, and I'm going to show you guys how to add some veggies to it and make it a little bit better than how it just comes in the package. So stay tuned if you're interested. So the ingredients for today's ramen recipe calls for some soy sauce. I'm using less sodium, some vegetable broth, 2 packs of ramen noodles, some minced garlic, sliced water chestnuts, some cilantro, some ginger, green onion, mushrooms. You can use shiitake mushrooms here, but I couldn't find any at Walmart, so I'm working with Baby Bella, and some bok choy. Okay, so to kick things off for today's recipe, we are going to start with our broth for the ramen. So we're going to take our vegetable broth and we're going to get 2 cups. I'm making 2 packages of ramen. I'm making 2 servings here, so I go 2 cups of vegetable broth, 1 cup, add it to our pot, 2 cups, add it to our pot. There's a little bit left, so I'm just going to add the remainder here. And now I'm also going to add about 2 cups of water, so I'm going to go ahead and get that right here. There's 1. And here's 2. Okay, so next we are going to add our minced garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and eyeball about 2 teaspoons here. So I'm just going to get that on the edge of this knife. There's about 1. Now 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some soy sauce. I'm not the biggest fan of soy sauce, so I'm just going to do probably like 1 to 2 second little pour. So like 1, 2, there. And I think that'll do it. And next we are going to work with our ginger, and I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do that. So we're going to start off by peeling our ginger here. It's got this kind of brown skin on its outside, which isn't too pleasant to eat, so we're just going to take a knife and cut off these brown kind of edges or skin to it. And once we have that taken care of, just got a little bit more to go here, we're going to slice the ginger into thin slices. So I've got most of the skin off from it here, if you can see that, and I'm just going to cut it into little thin slices, and I'll hold it up to the camera to show you what I mean. We don't want to add too much ginger because ginger is very potent, very strong. I can smell it just cutting it, but these thin slices are almost transparent, so I'm going to be okay with using these. I'm going to go ahead and add these to the soup or the broth and just kind of let their flavor soak in there. So taking another look at my pot, I've got the ginger, the minced garlic, the soy sauce, the vegetable broth, and the water in there. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a stir. Again, it's on just a little bit above medium heat. I'm going to start adding some more heat to it now. Crank it a little bit higher, almost that high. We're trying to get that water boiling. I'm also going to add another 2 cups of water. I like a bit more broth to my ramen, so if you like your ramen a bit more brothy, you can do this, or you can skip this step here. So now, with the broth getting ready, we're going to go ahead and move on to our ingredients besides noodles. So I've got my water chestnuts here. I've already struggled to open the can up off camera, so did that. And you're just going to drain them because they come in a lot of water and stuff, so just strain them real quick. Run them under some water. And the nice thing about water chestnuts is they kind of add a nice little bit of crunch to your ramen, so it's kind of a nice little contrast to what you're used to probably. So these are already sliced and ready, so I'm just going to go ahead and add these in. Probably a better way to do this than how I'm doing it. I'm going to use a spoon here. There we go. And next we're going to take our mushrooms. And the nice thing about these is they've also already been sliced, so you can choose to add them right away. I am going to make mine a little bit thinner because some of them are a bit chunkier than I would like them to be. So I'm going to go ahead and just slice them up a bit thinner. And it's up to you how much you add for these vegetables into your ramen. I think I took about a handful of the mushrooms. Might go for a little bit more. I'll see how this looks once I slice it. So again, I've got some thin slices here of I'm using baby Bella mushrooms, but more popular with ramen is Shitake mushrooms, but I shopped for my ingredients at Walmart and they didn't have any Shitake mushrooms, so I was a little disappointed, but you work with what you got. So I'm going to add a little bit more mushroom. I think I'm going to lower the heat. As you can see in the background, I'm kind of steaming up a little bit here. Got the water boiling, so I am ready to put in my noodles at any point now. So I'm actually going to start with putting the noodles in before the mushrooms, because I want these to get tender and they'll need to cook probably a bit longer. I'm going to take my packages. I'm choosing not to use the little seasoning packets they come with, just because I've kind of added my own seasoning here, so I kind of want to taste that rather than the packet. But so we've got our blocks of ramen noodles here, and we're going to go ahead and add these to our broth so we can let those noodles cook. Some more. Some stragglers left in the bags. Go ahead and add those. I'm just going to make sure the noodles are submerged in the water so that they're cooking evenly. We don't want like a portion of it sticking out and getting less cooked, so just going to poke and prod them in with blocks of ramen. Once you start cooking it for a little bit, they get easier to kind of break it up, so you can just kind of dig your spoon into it to get that block kind of to change form. Now that I've got that, I'm going to keep the heat on medium, cover it up, and go back to my veggies. So I've actually finished my mushrooms, so I'm going to go ahead and add these in as well. I think I've just got a little over a handful here. I think I'm going to actually add a little bit more because I do like mushrooms. They're a good source of iron, so I'm going to cut up a little bit more to add. And I'm going to switch up the style here. I'm going to just go for kind of thin slices. Because really, you can just kind of have fun with your cooking. Do whatever you really want, as long as you follow a little bit within the lines of the recipe and instructions, you'll be good. So, I got some more mushrooms. Go ahead and add those in. We lost one, that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and give it another stir. And we'll just let that simmer on like medium. And now we're going to move into the bok choy. So I've never cooked with bok choy before, but I've heard it was a great addition to ramen, so we're gonna go ahead and wash our bok choy under some water real quick. Always good to wash your produce before you use it. I'm gonna break off a couple of these leaves, or stalks, maybe they're called stalks. Anyways, I'm gonna break off a couple, let's say 4. Start with 4 and see how we do. And I'm gonna start at the top and kind of go just right through all 4 of them, kind of make these thin strips. Now, if I had to say, I'd say these strips are maybe no longer than an inch. My first cut was a little generous, maybe a bit bigger than an inch, but just trying to get these little strands of the leafy, dark leafy green part of this. We'll go a little bit into the stalk because I know sometimes the stalks of the vegetables can have more nutritional value than the leaves themselves, but I don't personally know too much about bok choy, so I'm going to stick to the green nutrient dense part that I know. So I've got this kind of bundle of bok choy, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to our ramen. I'm going to use my spoon and just kind of push it in there, mix it around. Does smell very good. No, I say that all the time and you guys can't smell it, but if you try it out, you'll know what I mean. So, while we've got that going, we're going to let this cook. I'm going to say 5 to 7 minutes is a good kind of time frame once you put your noodles in. I also kind of just play it by ear. If every so often you take a noodle out and just kind of eat it and taste the texture. If it's chewy, cook it for a little bit longer. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so our ramen's been cooking and we're gonna work on our garnishes now. So we're gonna take our green onions, gonna wash them off lightly. And for these, I'm gonna take about half of my bundle. So what is that? About 4 stalks. I'm gonna use these. And you're just gonna create really small little circles from the green onion. So if you just start from the top, work your way down, kind of hold them all together. And these, I would say, they're probably about half an inch long, if I had to guess, if you're looking for a measurement. But again, these are more so just to garnish. And if I have to be honest, I was taking a smell at my soup as it was cooking, and I haven't worked with bok choy before, and I think it's the bok choy that has a bit of a pungent smell to it, so I did go ahead and add one of the flavoring packets from the ramen, so might be a helpful tip for you if you want to work with bok choy. So kind of cut these small circles of green onion. They look like this. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to lower the heat on our ramen. It's basically ready. Take the lid off, add the green onion, and next we're going to take our cilantro. We're going to take, let's say, about this much. I don't know what kind of measurement this would be, but I'm just going to cut off a big part of the stem, and then I'm going to go ahead and add it to the soup. And then you can go ahead and plate it and serve it, and you'll be good. So if I seemed a little awkward in the last part, it's because someone came in during the filming again, but we'll be switching locations next episode, so stay tuned for that. Here's our finished ramen, a little upgrade from your usual Maruchan ramen packets, I believe. I went ahead and added some more green onion for a garnish, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time.